There's one surefire way to get me to support government ineptitude, and that is when bad policy is delayed. In this context, it is the potential ban of handguns that the Liberals have been aggressively moving towards, it appears, since the tragic Danforth Ave shooting, in which an illegal and unregistered handgun was used to commit murder by someone we know had ties to radicalism. This horrific tragedy gave the federal government under Justin Trudeau political cover to explore a massive gun grab, and Ralph Goodale even made the comment that it would be expedited. Even after the New Zealand shooting, the attacks on mosques in Christchurch, Ralph Goodale said it might actually justify further restriction of firearms in Canada. Now, this falls squarely into Bill Blair's corner, the minister supposedly responsible for border security and eliminating organized crime, but in actuality, the minister responsible for anything to do with curbing the rights of law-abiding gun owners, of which I am one. I own a handgun, so I've got skin in the game here. Bill Blair has now said, despite his earlier promise to have the report done in 2018, he will not be able to have his recommendations completed before the 2019 election. This means that the process that the government will undertake to ban handguns, if it does, won't be taking place before the election. As I said, I've rarely been more excited to see the slow pace at which government moves than I am right now. Now, this means there is a call to action for not just gun owners, but anyone that believes that Canadians should have the right to own firearms, or that Canadians should have the ability to enact personal freedoms in their own lives. You can't vote for a government that is hell-bent on taking away your rights. You cannot, as a freedom-loving citizen, consent to your rights being mitigated, which is exactly what the Liberals are promising here. This means that if the Liberals win re-election, they will believe that they have been given a mandate specifically to ban handguns. And the discussion that they're putting forward, and the discussion that a lot of gun control advocates are putting forward, is not one of rights, but one of need. Who needs a handgun? No one needs to have a handgun. We aren't a society of needs. We are supposed to be a society and a country based on rights, freedoms, and the rule of law. And that means that such a disrespectful act towards the law-abiding, to curb their rights, should never, ever be approved or endorsed in this country that we love. We don't have the constitutional right to bear arms, but we do have rights. And though the government does not view firearm ownership as a fundamental right, that should encourage, not discourage, maintaining gun ownership as a fact of life in Canada. The reason is, gun owners are strictly and stringently vetted. Daily background checks. I've talked about this before. When you buy a handgun, there's a waiting period. There are many rules that prevent firearms from getting into the wrong hands legally. These rules do not do anything about illegal gun ownership, which is where Bill Blair's priorities are supposed to lie. So we've bought ourselves a few months, but we're not out of the woods yet. If you care about freedom, Bill Blair cannot be in that position after October. True North is standing up for your freedoms. I'm a gun owner. I'm with you in this fight, standing up for your freedoms as well. But we can't do it alone. If you can chip in a few bucks or join a heritage club for a monthly contribution, it goes a long way in making sure that True North, which doesn't get access to this hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars of government funding, is able to continue to stand up for you and your freedoms. For True North, I'm Andrew Lawton.